What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Residual Earners Podcast, episode 24. Today, we have life lessons and business lessons with my co-host here, Mr. Presley Swagerty. I'm Jordan, and we are super excited that everyone has tuned in today for this podcast. We love doing it every week, and, just happy to be here with you.
I'm happy to be here with you, too.
That's it.
After me having that heart issue a month ago, I'm really happy to be here.
It's amazing, the stuff you take for granted until you can't take it for granted anymore.
No. And when you're my age and you've never had a heart issue in your life, it was kind of a surprise. But
eye-opening.
I'm here, though, and thank the Lord. I mean, it's the good Lord wasn't ready for me, so I'm still here doing a podcast with my favorite co-host, obviously my son. And, big hockey tournament coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah. Heading to Montreal next weekend, which is exciting. It's just another step for the kid. See what he can do.
I am a proud grandfather.
That's it, man.
Proud grandfather. I'm blessed. All three of the grandkids are amazing. But anyway, they didn't tune in probably to hear grandkids. But
let's get going. What you got for us?
Anybody that's been around me for any length of time knows that Jim Rohn has been a mentor of mine. I have been blessed to have been mentored by him for years. Obviously, he's no longer with us, but his legacy still lives on, and I watch him on YouTube and, read all kinds of stuff. He's got books out there. If you haven't read or watched some Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, do that. I'm telling you, it is the real deal. One of the things he always talks about is that you can be, do, and have more. And that is kind of a motto of my life, considering I grew up in the ghettos and then taught school, that you can change, you can grow, you can get out of the circumstances, you can break the chains of maybe your granddad was broke and your dad was broke. That doesn't mean you've got to be broke. Thank the Lord we're not in the caste system here in America. But You know this well, Jordo, that you can change. And, you can look back on your baseball career. You can look back on just life. And we make changes. We keep adjusting and moving forward. Just give me your thoughts on that.
No, I think we're, we always talk about it, but we're always growing and we're always trying to become better, Just an example as of late that I've started with this notebook right here is writing down 8 things I want to achieve each day and then marking them off. It's just another thing that I picked up from some people I watch online to try to get, success tips from that, that goes everywhere with me now, and I write it down and then I cross it off as I go, and, you're getting better every single day and you're moving the needle. I think that's a needle mover, which is big for me.
Yeah, and you guys have heard me talk about you need a daily to-do list. You need to know that when you wake up in the morning, you've got a list waiting on you of things you want to accomplish that day. And I think as you get a little more mature, in other words, older, you start realizing that you only have so many days on this earth, and you want to take advantage of them. You want to accomplish what you can accomplish. And, I'm talking finances, sure, absolutely, but I'm also talking spiritual growth. I'm talking relationships, health, just growing as a person. There's a lot of things you can put in your notebook that you want to accomplish each morning. And a lot of you guys have heard me talk about, I get up every day, I pray, I read the Bible, I read out of a good book. If I've got the time, I'll watch a few minutes of a personal growth giant, on YouTube. But we all need to have that stuff going on in our lives. Every day, we need to be better today than we were yesterday, even if it's just a little bit. And tomorrow, we want to be a little bit better than we were today, and all those little bits add up. The next thing I wanted to visit on is, and this again is, my gosh, this is prime Jim Rohn, is guard the door of your mind. When I say that, Jordo, what pops in your head?
Don't let trash in. I would say a good example would be, YouTube. You can go down a dark rabbit hole of just throwing trash in your brain, or you can redirect it into putting stuff in there, from positive people that are motivating and getting you where you want to go. And it's just making sure that we're putting in the stuff into our brain that needs to be in there, reading good books, listening to podcasts, doing all the stuff we need to be doing rather than just, letting it slip.
You know, while we're on that, I think the folks out there would like to know, especially some folks that maybe don't get on YouTube a whole lot, but you have learned about boats, guns, cameras. I mean, you name it, and you go to YouTube and you study stuff on YouTube.
Definitely.
If somebody has a subject they want to learn on, give them just a couple of pointers on how you would do that on YouTube.
I always, first I search it and then I find who's got the most followers or a good amount of followers, because obviously people are gaining value from their videos and just going on there, and I even do it a lot for business stuff whenever, I'm need to figure out something in QuickBooks, or I need to get a new spreadsheet going in Excel and I want to figure out how to do something. There's so many things. YouTube's so great because you can go there and pretty much learn anything in this day and age. So, I'm always searching, finding somebody with a good amount of followers, and then, once you get there, new videos pop up. The algorithm figure out what you're looking for, and then you can really start kind of picking and choosing which ones you're gaining the most value out of.
Now, I know Nikki's taught you a lot about cameras and stuff like that, but you've pretty much become an expert from YouTube, have you not?
I wouldn't say an expert. There's still a lot of stuff, that's a lifelong journey to really master, but I've definitely learned how things work, how all these cameras tie together, how to, do stuff, editing and post, just really putting it all together in a product that hopefully looks well to all the viewers out there. But it's taken a lot of hours of just studying.
Well, and even me, guys, an old dog can learn new tricks. I'm learning CapCut, in other words, the editing of videos and stuff, watching videos. Obviously, Jordan's given me some pointers as well. The next thing I would like to talk about is make a change. And I think this is probably the biggest key to our success, no matter what area of our life we're trying to change, that we want to improve. And that is, you've got to take that first step. It's the Chinese proverb that says a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. Well, guys, we've got to take that first step. If we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we're getting. And I think it is so key for us that if we're wanting to change our lives, if we're wanting to improve our lives, and, I would dare say that should apply to all of us. We should all be trying to get better, no matter where you are financially or spiritually or health-wise or whatever. We should still be trying to get better. So I think it is key that we make a change and we start the process, and you got to take that first step. Jordo, talk about that if you would.
No, you always got to take the first step, and it's easy to be in your comfort zone and not want to get out of it. And I think that's what everyone struggles with. And I know you talk a lot about, is it Art Williams on Just Do It on YouTube?
Just do it.
And it's, whether you need to be pumped up to get out of bed and get moving, or you just do it naturally, it's that first step. And whether it's the morning routine that kicks your day off, whether you don't have a morning routine, you just get up, get the kids going, and, they're out the door. Now what do you do next? You got to get that motivation, and you got to figure out where you find it from to get moving. Because, David Goggins is somebody I watch a lot that, if I'm down, he kind of gets me going, because there's no he doesn't have time for people that are lazy. So if you're feeling down and feeling lazy, he's a good guy to say, well, he's running 50 miles today. I think I can, get this business task done. But once you get the first step, we speak on it a lot. It's kind of that snowball effect that now things become a lot easier. You're rolling, you're motivated, you're locked in, and you get, everything you want accomplished in your day.
A saying comes to mind with you talking about that, and that is, you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great.
That's it.
And I'm telling you guys, and if you haven't watched the Art Williams Just Do It, Art Williams Just Do It, he's the guy that started A.L. Williams. He's a billionaire, and he started as an old coach. Maybe that's why I like him, is I was an old coach. But Art Williams, Just Do It. When I'm down and I need a little bit of oomph, a little bit of gas, I'll watch it. I've probably watched that video. It's about 20 minutes. I've watched that video. I'm not embellishing when I say maybe 1,000 times in my life. I've watched it a whole lot because it's one of those things that gets me going. But you got to make the change. You got to take the first step. The next thing is it's risky. Do you realize life is risky? I mean, the minute you were born, things are risky. When you have kids, things are risky. If you start a new business, things are risky. Jim Rohn says this, Jordo. He says, life is so risky that you're not going to get out alive. And I mean, I really love that. It kind of puts things in perspective that everything is risky. Talk about taking that risk or just sitting on your butt and doing nothing.
Well, you calculated risk,
Yes, yes.
the risk you want to take. But I made a short video this morning. Nothing great is conquered in your comfort zone. When it comes to risk, you got to get out there and you got to take that first step, and it's got to be smart risk. And what I mean by that, we had Duke Tran on the channel. When this airs, probably a month ago to 6 weeks. We've knocked out a few episodes recently, but and he just talked about he's with Merrill Lynch, he's with RBC, he's got all this knowledge, and he's got his contacts and his clients, and he's taking a calculated risk to say, I have the knowledge, I have the support and the clients that I think will come with me. I'm going to take this risk, and I think long-term it'll be better for my family, and that's what he did. And it's a calculated risk, and there's definitely risk involved, but it's saying, hey, I know what I'm capable of, I know what I can do, and, I want to get out there and do it. And there's 100% risk involved, but, it's a safer play than just, going out starting something on your own with having no idea what you're doing.
Everything that you do, especially if you're wanting to go in business for yourself, there's going to be some risk. Jordan is absolutely right. It's a calculated risk. I'm not just saying run, jump off a cliff, but I'm telling you, you're going to have to take some risk. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. But the beautiful thing of a comfort zone is, it starts off little bitty. But if you'll just take a little step out, your comfort zone will grow a little bit. And you take another step out, and your comfort zone will grow a little bit. And you take another step out, and your comfort zone will grow a little bit. I'm going to tell you a prime example of that is, Jordan used to not like to speak. He used to not like to do a video and stuff. And now he is amazing at it. But it took you getting out of your comfort zone, didn't it?
Definitely. And you forced me out of my comfort zone a time or two. But once you start doing these every week and knowing what you're talking about and what your goals are, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah. Obviously I'm a networker and speak in front of large groups. And every once in a while when Jordan will be out in the audience, I'll say, I want to invite my son up to say a couple of words. And he's up there talking, and then he feels like killing me afterwards. But it served a purpose. He can get up and talk now, and it certainly is. He's accomplished at it. All right. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. What does that mean to you?
It means that the success you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Nothing's easy. So if you keep waiting for things to be easy to master something or to become successful, it's never going to happen. So you just got to go out and tackle it.
No, and the example that I love, and that is you're captaining a sailboat. Well, what if you're wanting to go the direction the wind is out of? Do you realize the captain of the sailboat doesn't sit there and wait till the wind changes directions? The captain of the sailboat sets his sails where he can go into the wind. Now, is he going to move as fast when the wind's in his face? No, but he can still move into the wind. You're going to have to understand that life is life, and, a saying that I'll say all the time to myself is, it is what it is. What that means to me is I can't change some things, so I just have to attack them. I just have to fight them. I just have to win the battle because I'm not going to change it. You know, I think so many things is life happens to us, but it's all about our attitude. How are we going to handle things when things go rough?
Yeah.
And we've just got to keep battling. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. You know, wish you had more wisdom. Wish you had more knowledge. Work on those things, and you can gain knowledge. Does everybody understand that? When I'm having my prayer time, I'm always praying, Lord, give me wisdom and understanding, because that's what I want. Because I know that I can handle the situations that come up in life. I want wisdom. I want understanding. And if you'll study and work and do, you can tackle anything, guys. I'm telling you. But life's going to happen to us, but it is what it is. We just got to battle it and keep moving. All right. Woo, I like this one. Mental factory. It goes a little bit like guarding the door of your mind. But, you know, if I'm in a factory and I want to make something good, I'm producing some kind of product, whatever it happens to be. I need good raw materials coming in to make whatever I'm making, whether it be circuit boards or a water pump. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You got to be putting good stuff in your mind. Talk about that, Jordan.
You know, it goes back to, you know, finding people on YouTube that motivate. It goes back to reading good books, listening to the right stuff. You know, it's so similar to the one we talked about earlier, but it's definitely putting the right stuff in your brain.
You know, if I have a factory and, you know, we have a printed circuit board business that Jordan and I are part owners in, and, you know, we wouldn't let a trash truck pull up to our dock and dump a bunch of trash in. But sometimes we will let trash get into our lives. And, you know, that old saying, garbage in, garbage out, is so true. The other thing that I'm gonna hit you on is this, and I think this is so key. You are what you think.
Yeah.
Whatever you're thinking about all the time, that's the direction your life is going to go. And we all will veer off the straight and narrow path and be thinking about stuff we shouldn't think about, or just negative stuff, or just whatever. I'm going to challenge everybody that's watching this podcast. If negative thoughts come in your mind, if thoughts come in your mind that you shouldn't be thinking about or don't need to be thinking about, or just not good for what you're trying to accomplish, negative thoughts, just get it out. Because, see, in your mind, you can't be thinking about positive things and negative things at the exact same time.
No.
Get that good stuff in there, and then watch the negative stuff will get pushed out. And I think that is a big deal. I want to ask you a question here, and I know we may do a podcast on your baseball career, but did you ever have a negative thought come into your mind as you were going to the plate or going to the mound or anything?
There's definitely times whenever you're slumping that negative thoughts come in. When the good times are rolling, there are no negative thoughts, but when the bad times are there and you're in a slump, or, you know, not getting a lot of outs, there are definitely negative thoughts. And it's just creating a process to overcome those negative thoughts and going back to the training and the hours put in and knowing that you can do it, and getting that momentum back and that, you know, pep in your step that overcomes those negative thoughts.
I'm going to challenge everybody to, when a negative thought comes in your mind, push it out, start thinking something positive. All right, the next thing I want to hit, and this is, I think, big to both of us, and that is, you know, Jim Rohn says, "Why are you up so early?" And I love Jim Rohn's comment, and you guys may want to use this. He says, "If you were going where I'm going, you'd get up early too."
Yeah.
And, you know, I've talked about this a time or two, and that is, I get up early. I have my alarm set for 6. I'm usually up before 6. Today I had my alarm set, but I woke up about 4:30, laid there till about 5:15 and got up. I get up because I know where I'm trying to get. I've got my goals written down. I know what I'm trying to accomplish. I think if you're struggling to get out of bed in the morning, then I'm going to say chances are that you don't have your goals and dreams written down, because if you know where you're going, if you know what you're trying to accomplish, and they're big and they're exciting and you're wanting to get there, then I'm going to tell you, you'll jump out of bed. I believe if you don't have goals and dreams, you'll just kind of slime out of bed. You know, you'll hit the snooze 2 or 3 times and you just go, oh my gosh, I got to get up. I get up excited because I know what I want to accomplish that day, and I think that's big. I know you get up early, Jordan.
Yeah, I get up early, and I enjoy knowing that I'm accomplishing more than everybody else from the time I get out of bed. I like knowing that everybody's still sleeping, everybody's still tucked in nice and warm, and having a nice snooze. And I like getting up, and you know, the morning coffee really gets me going. That's one of my favorite times a day. And a lot of this may have to do with 3 young kids. Having a quiet house is nice, so I can get a lot accomplished. But I love waking up early, and I love accomplishing things and getting the day kicked off in the right way due to being out of bed.
You know, ditto on my favorite time of day is the morning when I got my coffee. I'm having my quiet time. I'm reading a good book. I'm watching a personal growth giant. I think that by far is my favorite time. And I also have this thought. You kind of hit this. Is that sometimes I'll talk to somebody and I'll call them and, oh man, I just got out of bed and it's 9:30. Well, I've been up since 6. I've been going for 3.5 hours. I think to myself, I've got half a day's work in. Yeah. I'm so far ahead of you, you know. And the other thing that I will throw out there is, look at your day in chunks. I think this is a key thing that I read a while back, and that is, you can take your morning. Let's say you get up at 6 and you go to 9 or 10 o'clock. Look at that as a day. Try to get as much accomplished in that little section of the morning as a lot of people would in a day. And then take from, say, 10 to 2 and look at that section as I want to get as much accomplished during this section of the day as a full day for most people. And then from that 2 to maybe 6 or 7, depending on how much you're going to put in. Look at that as another day. In other words, look at a day as kind of like 3 days. You want to accomplish 3 days' task in one day. And it's amazing how much you can accomplish. Another way to look at that is try to take what you would do in a month and get it done in a week. Yeah. Try to take what you do in a week and get it done in a day. And if you will kind of have that attitude, because you know this better than most because of you guys moving to Canada and having to do so much to get that accomplished. And that is, I know that if we went to Turks and Caicos 2 or 3 weeks ago, those few days before we got on that plane to be gone for 8 days, I got so flippin' much accomplished. No. Because I knew I'm fixing to leave. I knew I had to get this stuff done. I knew I couldn't do it while I was gone. And I look back and I think, why don't I treat life like that all the time? Act like I'm leaving tomorrow to go on some week-long vacation or 2-week-long vacation and see what you accomplish. I'm guessing you got a whole lot done knowing that you're packing up, fixing to be out of here.
Deadlines help, but it's finding ways to act like there's a deadline to get stuff accomplished. And that's one reason I like my notepad, because I got a deadline for that day to get those things accomplished. And when you live life like that, you start just checking boxes off of things that you get done, and you're getting them done so much faster due to I'm giving myself a deadline. I want to see how many days I can go in a row with knocking off my 8 tasks for the day.
And don't you feel good when
great.
You're checking those things off the list? I'm telling you, there's something, guys, about writing a to-do list down and literally checking them off. And when you look at that paper and, you maybe have 8 things on your list and you got 6 of them checked off, I mean, it just gives you some adrenaline.
And, guys, think of this. It takes, 30 to 180 days to really create a new habit. And if you will get through the initial tough times of getting these things done, it becomes habit. And then once, being productive is a habit, think about where you're going to end up.
A great book on that, speaking of that, is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Yep. When we did our podcast on our favorite books, that was one of them. Yep. And if you haven't read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, read that book, because it is, my gosh, it'll get you on the right path. Okay, Jim Rohn always says, watch your coffee. And this is kind of funny how he goes about it and what he says, but he says life is both sugar and strychnine. Now, obviously, we all know what sugar is. If you don't know what strychnine is, it's a poison, okay? And Jim Rohn, he'll say, he'll be up on stage, or would be up on stage back when he was with us, he would say, What if one of your good friends puts sugar in your coffee, and you go, "Well, I mean, nothing. I'd be fine." And he says, "Well, what if one of your friends accidentally puts strychnine in your coffee?" And he goes, "You'd be dead." He said, "Whether it's a good friend or an enemy," he said, "you got to guard your coffee, because sometimes a friend will say something to get you off track, even if it's accidentally." And it kind of goes back to guarding the door of your mind. And Jim Rohn was big on the mental aspect of success. But you got to watch friends and enemies. Friends won't do it, I don't think, most times intentionally if they're a true friend. But you got to watch that they can poison your success just like somebody that's an enemy can.
Definitely. And I think you got to watch, because how many true friends do most people actually have? I feel like, there are a lot of those like middle friends that don't necessarily want you to achieve success and don't want what's best for you. You only have a handful of like quality good friends, you can count on for anything.
My friends that back when I had nothing, I knew they wasn't around me because I had something.
Yeah.
They were around me because we were just friends, because I certainly couldn't do a whole lot for them, didn't have a whole lot of money, didn't have a whole lot of pull, power, anything. I mean, I was just Presley, We'd play basketball, we'd go out, we'd hang out, but there wasn't a lot of things that I could do for them other than be there for them. And the crazy thing is, guys like Bill Lane and Max Fincher and R.V. Bogus and Coach J.D. Mayo, and I mean, they're still my dear friends. Now, all that said, I've got a lot of good friends now that have come into my life later.
Yeah.
But did you have any people that became or wanted to be your friend just because you were a star baseball player?
Definitely. And you guard off that stuff, but people definitely try to come into your life when things are good. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I'm a little bit of an introvert, so I'm not always looking for a bunch of new people at times. So I like my core group of friends and stuck with them. But there's definitely people that come into the picture once success happens.
Now, this really isn't part of what we were going to talk about, but I do want to throw this in there. Networking is a big key to success.
Correct.
And you have done a great job of networking the last few years. Hit on that real quick.
It's just finding the circles of the people that you want to be a part of. And then once you find those, it's taking the time out and really getting to know people and caring about the actual person. The best place I network is obviously the golf course. I think a lot of people know that, but it's,
you look like you could go play golf right now.
This is my daily attire for now. But it's, finding those people and getting to know them on a personal level, I think is so important. And it's not about needing anything or wanting anything from them. It is just being friends. If you're friends with the right people, when you actually need something, they're there to help. But you got to build the friendship before ever thinking anything else.
No, I think that is so key. And whether it's the auto hauling business or the insurance business or any kind of business, if you know some folks and have a relationship with some folks, then it's much easier to find people that are wanting to help you.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, guard your coffee. That's all I can say. I guess I'm going to have to guard my water, because that's all I have right now. So I'm guarding my water. But in other words, be careful when you're around people, because sometimes even accidentally they'll do something to derail you. Success is something you attract. This is Jim Rohn. This is Manny Carter. A lot of you guys know that Manny's my cousin that's been one of my main role models. And Manny, in so many words, just went right down the list of what Jim Rohn talked about. And that is, if you want more, you got to become more. You attract success. You don't chase success. And let me tell you about success. Success is looking for a place to stay. Success wants to stay, but success will only stay if you're a person that deserves success, that has created a place for success. And I believe with that, it's all about you becoming a better person. And none of us are going to change overnight. My gosh, I grew up in the ghettos, guys. No embellishment at all. 2 murders and a rape within 7 houses of where I grew up, a little old raggedy 600 square foot house my mom and I lived in. She worked in sewing factories and school cafeterias. I was around a lot of the wrong crowd. Drugs was everywhere. Violence was all around. I could go on, but I didn't just flip a switch and change out of that. It was a process, and it was me growing every day, me trying to get a little better every day. And you'll figure out that if you'll start growing as a person, if you'll start changing as a person and become a better person than you were yesterday, and the next day a better person than you were the day before, then success will come and want to be with you. I mean, I know that everything comes from the Lord, but I believe we attract what we're focused on. I believe we attract what we are working to become. I just think that what goes around comes around, and I think it is important for us to attract success, Jordan.
Definitely. And what I hope everyone's picking up on this is we're basically giving you a full list of things that you can be doing to get attract success. The potions in these bullet points that we're hitting. And if you do all of these things, you will find success in whatever field you're in or whatever you're wanting to accomplish in 2024 or in the next 10 years, whatever it is. If you're doing these things, you're giving yourself the best chance of actually achieving the goals that you have down on your list.
Yeah, and I'll give you just 3 concrete things real quick. Some of you folks have heard me say these 3, but I like to point out that these are so doable. I tell folks, we don't have to read a book a day. How about just reading 10 pages a day out of a good book? Well, if we do that every day for a year, you've read 3,600 pages. You've read probably 15 good books. Think that one through, guys. I mean, that is so key. Just that little bit, that 15, 20 minutes that before you go to bed, you read 10 pages, that I could read 15 books this year. Well, yeah, and you wouldn't be the same person a year from now. Number 2, instead of watching so much television, how about getting your computer and watch Zig Ziglar or Stephen Covey or Les Brown or Joyce Myers or Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn you can just go down the list. How about just 30 minutes a day? Instead of watching one more TV program, do that. And then, the last one and the one I think is the most key is who you're running with is going to determine so much in your life. I believe that the success I've had is because I changed the group I was running with. And you start running with people that are accomplishing things, and you start realizing you can do that too. So, I think that is key, Jordo.
No, and I'd say my tight friend circle is they've accomplished pretty impressive things, and it's those are the guys I want to be running with that I'm learning from. That I learn their business, what they're doing, their tips and tricks for success, and it's always about bettering yourself, which is the point of this podcast today.
And I think Pat Murphy, your coach there at the beginning of ASU, was a very wise guy. I meant intelligent, smart, had a lot of insight into life. He roomed you with the All-American when you got to Arizona State.
Yeah.
I think there was a reason he did that. He wanted you hanging with that success.
Definitely. And it works, I learned a lot of stuff from Leak. Learned what to do, what not to do. Interesting guy, actually. I see his picture over there hanging in the garage. But no, that was, it's all about hanging with the right people and learning from them and seeing what's working for them. And that's how we get better.
When you were with the Cardinals, were you watching the Wainwrights and the guys that were the stars? I mean, were you trying to follow how they did things? And
always, and it, at that level, some of it, you got to know who to follow, because guys get there for, they've been there 12, 15 years and they don't do much anymore. They're
right.
just like, they're set. So it's learning who to follow. But I mean, Wainwright was awesome, always a hard worker. Yachty was incredible. You know, at that point in time, Matt Carpenter had been there a while, but was having success and a very, very hard worker. It's guys like that you follow and check out and see how they're doing things, so you know how to do things.
You know, and Jordo said something that is key there. He had to figure out who to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, pick your friends wisely. Pick your role models wisely. Make sure it's somebody that has what you want. And, you know, I'll end this point, and we only have one more, but I'll end this point by saying if somebody doesn't have what you want, I wouldn't take a lot of advice from them.
Yeah.
You know, broke Uncle Harry will tell you can't do anything because broke Uncle Harry doesn't believe he can do anything, which means he doesn't believe you can do anything. But I've never gone to a successful person and run a good idea by them and them go, oh, no, you can't do that. But I've had the broke Uncle Harrys in my life tell me I couldn't many, many times. So if somebody has what you want, that's who I'd be listening to. And kind of like Jordan was talking about, if somebody, you know, with the Cardinals had achieved that success and were still striving, that's the ones he went after.
Definitely.
All right, my last thing, and we'll end with this. And guys, the war is on, and we've got to win the war. Life is going to be a struggle at times, you know, and we look, and I tell people this all the time. You know, none of us got to pick our parents. We were just born. We just popped out, and there's mom and dad. You know, I got 50% of it right. The other 50% wasn't so good. But my mom was an amazing, godly lady, and I am who I am because of her. But my whole point is that we don't get to pick our parents. We don't get to pick where we grow up. We don't get to pick a lot of things in our life. None of us can go back and make a new beginning, but we can all start now and make a different ending. And, you know, I wish I'd have had a dad in my life. My gosh, I played ball my whole life. My dad never watched me play one game. Man, I could tear up on that one right now. But anyway, we don't get to pick that. So if you've got great parents, wonderful. If you grew up on the right side of the tracks, wonderful. But you know, I'm living proof that you can only have one good parent and grow up on the wrong side of the tracks and still make something out of yourself. And my dad was a role model for me. Whatever he did, I do the opposite. When Jordan was playing ball, I mean, he's played thousands of games. I haven't missed more than a handful. I was at the practices. When Sarah Beth was singing, I was at every concert, a lot of the rehearsals. I mean, you know, you can learn from all situations, but we don't get to pick our parents. The other thing I'll tell everybody on here right now, too, is that we have all screwed up. Everybody that is out there, you know, I was talking to, I think it was at one of Eric Worre's events, and there's probably 10,000 people out there, and I looked at them and I said, guys, everybody out here has got some dirty laundry. We've all, I don't care who you are, we've all done something where we look back and go, what in the frick was I thinking? I told somebody the other day, Jordan, I got so many skeletons in my closet, my clothes barely fit in. But, you know, my whole point with all this is these life lessons, we're going to all make mistakes. You know, we don't know why we had to live the life we did maybe as a kid, or maybe we had a great childhood. You know, until we get to heaven and can ask the good Lord himself, we're not going to know. But what we all can do is take life lessons like this and make a better ending. We can't go back and change the beginning. That is what it is. But we can all make a better ending. And if we will use life lessons and take it to heart and try to apply just a little bit of it, you can change your life, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely. No, that's you know, that's why we're here for this podcast, to bring value, to help people change their lives. And I hope everyone's kind of taken some of these nuggets that Presley's given today, made notes. If not, go back and rewatch and make notes, because there's a lot of stuff that you actually do. If you actually do, you can achieve so much more. And, you know, they're all right there in front of you, but you got to take the first step.
First step, got to make a change. If you keep doing what you're doing, going to keep getting what you're getting.
That's it.
We can all do this, guys. I promise you. Well, I'm excited, brother. We knocked it out of the park, I think.
Knocked it out of the park. And as always, guys, you know, we've started to get more comments. We want to answer questions. So make sure and leave comments down below, subscribe to the channel, and like this video. It helps us out a ton. We thank everyone for tuning in.
And if there's a topic you want us to cover, we did that a couple of weeks ago, covered a topic that somebody had put down in the comments. So if there's something you want us to cover, some aspect of life or network marketing or business, you just throw it down there and we will be happy to do that.
Definitely. So every Friday, guys, we appreciate it.
Love you.
Love you too.